Hi and welcome to this video. My name is Pascal Vigné and today I'd like to talk about sweeping technique, and I'd like to show you 5 examples to help you develop and improve your sweeping technique. So these 5 examples are going to be based on 7 arpeggios and also on the pentatonic scale, which is not really common when speaking about sweeping technique. So the first example I'd like to show you is based on a minor 7 arpeggio, E minor 7 arpeggio. So we have this form here. So here we have 2 octaves, and we're just going to play the second octave, the higher of the 2. So we're going to start off from the root note, which is E. So we have 3 downstrokes that we're going to play like this. So it's just the triad for now. Remember to let the pick fall onto the strings, not pick like this, but just let it fall down. And once you've done that, we're going to play the 7th, the minor 7th here, which is D, on the 10th fret of the high E string, so playing an upstroke. And then we're going to play the minor 3rd with an upstroke 2, so here. And then we're going to play the minor 7th again, so D, on the 7th fret of the G string here. So if I play the whole arpeggio, it's going to go like this. So 3 downstrokes and 3 upstrokes. So once you've done that, we're going to reverse the movement. The effect that you're going to hear is really much more interesting than going up and down arpeggios all the time. So it goes like this. I reverse the movement, and I go back to the first E note that I played here. So it's 3 downstrokes, 3 upstrokes, 3 downstrokes, 3 upstrokes, like this. So once you've mastered this, you can accelerate like this. So the trick is not to let the notes resonate. So in technical terms, you have to keep the strings quiet using the fingers, using, the 3-step approach I mentioned in another video, which is press, release, and take off the finger. So if you have any difficulties on a particular part, just try to isolate it. And for example, you can just, isolate one part in particular, like this one. Or this one. So take it slow first and then increase the speed gradually. So now I'm going to play this example using a metronome. The next example I'm going to show you is a little harder than the previous one because it implies the 4 fingers of your left hand and 4 strings. And you don't really have much space between the fingers, so it's going to complicate the exercise a little bit more. So the trick is to play a major 7 arpeggio, so using this form. So we're going to play B major 7. And so we're going to play these 4 notes using 4 downstrokes. So it goes like this. Use this press, release and take off technique as I mentioned earlier to have a really clean and precise tone. So once you've done that, you can just go backwards. So it's going to involve 4 upstrokes like this. And then you can just combine the two. So what you don't want to hear is this, actually. You don't want to hear a chord, you want to hear an arpeggio. So if you have any difficulties on a specific part, just isolate it. For example, if you need to isolate these 2 fingers, just play these 2 notes. Until you master it. As long as you hear this, it's not good. So try using a 2-note approach. If it's clean, move on to the next 2 notes. If it's clean, move on to the next 2 notes. So once you've done that, you're going to play this note and reverse the movement. This chord doesn't really make any sense, contrary to this one, which is a major 7, but it's actually really good for the technique, so you can go like this. So you can play the 2 parts separately, like this. Or the second part. And once you've done that, you can combine the 2. Which is really good to practice. Actually, it doesn't make any sense in a musical context, you know, it's not really musical. I mean, the first part is, you can actually use this when you play, but you know, the second part is really just, you know, for practice. And then you can move this shape all around the neck, you know, using the same strings and moving up and down like this. So it's good, you know, to practice, and you can use the same shape on other strings. So you can start from the A string like this. And do the same thing starting from the low E string. So it's a great warming up exercise as well, because it doesn't imply, you know, extensions, so it's not really traumatizing for your hands. So it's good to work on finger independence and, you know, to synchronize the 2 hands together. So it's really good exercise for practice. So for this next exercise, we're going to play a diminished arpeggio. And, you know, it sounds like Yngwie Malmsteen a little bit, so it makes it, you know, kind of Phrygian dominant kind of a thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off from D, so on the 7th fret of the G string. And then we're going to play the minor 3rd, and then diminished 5th here. So you can play this using 3 downstrokes like this. You can go backwards if you want to. And actually you can move this shape using minor thirds. So you can start this arpeggio from D, and then from F, and then from B flat, etc. So it goes like this using slides if you want to combine them. Then you slide, you do the same thing. So you can combine all this. Actually, you can, you can move it differently like this, for example. So it sounds a little bit like Yngwie Malmsteen, right? And you can also use the diminished scale if you want to. A half step, then a whole step, then a half step, then a whole step, like this. And the second part of the exercise is actually the same as the ones we did before. We're going to reverse the movement. So once you've done this, we're going to play the diminished seventh. So it goes like this. And then reverse the movement. And then you can move this shape all around the fretboard using minor third as we mentioned before. So for this next exercise, we're going to play a B7 arpeggio. So I'm going to show you the shape of the arpeggio. But we're going to play the upper part of the arpeggio only. So we're going to start off from the fifth. So the fifth is going to be F sharp on the 11th fret of the G string. Then we're going to play the minor seventh. And then we're going to play the root. So it goes like this, 3 downstrokes. All right, and then we're going to play 3 upstrokes. So we just go backward for now. Once we've done that, we're going to play the major third here, which is going to be D sharp. Then play the minor seventh again, and then the major third again, like this. So you can just play this part over and over again if you want to make sure it's clean. And then combine the two. So it sounds really great. I really like that effect. You can use this in context. For example, if you have a Mixolydian backing track, you can use this arpeggio at some point. So for the last exercise, I'd like to show you a pentatonic fragment. So we're going to play on the B minor pentatonic scale. And we're going to isolate two strings, the D string and the G string, and we're going to play these two notes. So it's going to imply the root note B and the minor third, so D. So you play these two notes using two downstrokes, and then you go backward using two upstrokes. So you can move this shape using the pentatonic scales, using the other positions. So you can start off from here, for example. And then, and you can combine all these fragments when playing. So in terms of playing, it's really interesting to combine all these different fragments with the arpeggios, the fragments that we mentioned earlier. So that's what I just did, to show you how it sounds, in context. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it's going to be helpful and useful to your playing. If that's the case, please leave a thumbs up, leave your comment below. Let me know if you have any suggestions for upcoming videos. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in a bit. Bye bye.